Hey, it's Sue. Welcome to the Lenormand lovers. I'm so happy that you're here and that you have an interest in learning how to read Lenormand cards. They're my favorite. So I'm going to let me share my screen with you and we'll get started. Today, we are going to talk about two card combinations. So one of the great things about learning how to read Lenormand cards is that they help you connect with your intuition. So let's get started. So what are Lenormand cards? We covered this. I'll go through it pretty quickly. So they're named after Mademoiselle Lenormand. She was a French professional fortune teller who lived back during the time of Napoleon. She was considered the greatest cartomancer of all time, highly influential in the wave of French cartomancy that began during the 18th century. She didn't create the cards, but she became famous for using them with her clients. This is a very simple deck, 36 cards, illustrated, fairly concrete, literal meanings, and they're known as Petite Lenormand. As with all fortune-telling vehicles, these are to be used for fun and for a form of entertainment and to not rule your lives. We're all born with free will that we need to exercise when making decisions daily. So why Lenormand cards? They're very straightforward. Each symbol represents something, an object, a person, idea that speaks directly to each one of us. We use our own personal symbol vocabulary or spirit vocabulary to tell the story that shows up in the cards. If I was to mention to you, let's say flowers, you immediately have a picture in your head, not only of what flowers look like, but what flowers mean for you. And that's where we pull our spirit vocabulary. So there's only 36 cards that are anchored in simplicity, making the foundation work to prepare to read the Lenormand cards easy to grasp. The deck is very small and easy to hold in your hand, like a deck of cards, which we like. So the benefits of reading Lenormand. Working with the Lenormand cards will strengthen your connection to your intuition. Being so easy to read, Lenormand cards will strengthen your confidence in your reading skills very quickly. They can show you the direction you're heading in any situation at any time, and it's up to you to decide if you want to stay the course or change your energy and move in a different direction. The cards serve as a messenger from your higher consciousness. All the answers that you seek to any situation already lie within you. You just have to tap in to your intuition to hear the message and the answer. These cards are eerily accurate and can give a glimpse of your future, helping you to prepare and manage your life. So the resources, I use two different kinds of cards. I use the Learning Way Lenormand. I love them. They're just so beautiful. And I use the Blue Owl. They're very, very simple, kind of old-fashioned, easy to read. And this is a must-have, the Essential Lenormand book by Rana George. It's just broken out so beautifully. Each card gets 2 or 3 pages that talks about a very extensive meanings, but you don't need to memorize them, because what really is important to tap into your intuition is what that symbol means to you, because it'll show up for you in a way that you will understand without having to strain your brain to remember. All of these things are available on Amazon. I studied under a very talented teacher for several years here in St. Louis, building my reading skills. This led to my reading for the public in 2017. From all of this that I'm going to tell you, choose what speaks to you and leave the rest. So some decks, I also want to point out, come with extra cards. They might have extra people cards, like a young man versus an old man, or a young woman versus an old woman. I have a deck that has a couple of different versions of the birds. Might be owls on one card, might be little parakeets on another. I have a deck that actually has like a bonus card. I'm not sure what that's for. So again, I would start with the basic 36 cards as you learn how to read them and interpret the symbols. So I've done some previous videos. The first one was all about building your spirit vocabulary, choosing one word meanings for each cards. So if you haven't watched that yet, I would go back and watch that. There are no set rules, and practice is key to your experience. So Two card combinations. So Lenormand cards are read in pairs of two, coming together to create a prediction that tells the story or answers the question that's asked. The symbols flow together to give clarity about the past and to give you a glimpse of the future. Combining cards helps us blend the story of the cards, and stringing the cards together is what makes a coherent statement. So one of the Lenormand reading formats uses all 36 cards, but you don't read all 36 cards. You read them two at a time together, depending on where they are in the reading. So learning how to read the two card combinations is fundamental to building your foundation for reading Lenormand cards. All right, so you're going to use your spirit vocabulary. So you're going to look at the very first card as the subject in a two card reading, and the second card as the description that modifies it. Or the first card is the noun and the second card is the adjective. So I had to, get refreshed on what the meanings of all this was, because I'm not an English teacher. But a noun is a word that identifies a class of people, a place, or a thing. And the adjective is a word or phrase related to the noun that modifies it or describes it. So it's really not as hard as it sounds. Anyway, here we go. Two card combinations. Now, let me just point out one thing first. We are only going to do 36 cards at a time. So meaning we're going to take the first card, which is writer, and from there, we're going to combine each of the other 35 cards, and that will be it on this video. But then you can come back and look at the next video, which will then take the second card, which is Clover, and pair that with the other 35 cards, including coming back up to writer again. So it would be a very long video if we went through all 36 cards 36 times. So we're going to do one card at a time, and this will help you take it at your own speed to learn how to do these combinations. All right, so don't forget to download your handout. I want to let you know it's large, it's 36 pages, so you might want to print it on double sides. Pause the recording and do that now. You can go to the bottom of the video and pull it up. It's called Lenormand Card Combinations Blank PDF. So I also want to say that besides the handout, I will post my Lenormand combinations. So a lot of these are, there's a lot of these out on the internet, because really these cards all have one basic meaning. Like a horse is a horse is a horse. But I have tweaked these and put it together, but most of the combinations are from Rana George's book. All right. I think that's funny. Did you hear my alarm? It just went off. The first card is horses, and that sounded like the beginning of the horse race. All right, so how we're going to use the handout. We're going to take one word that symbolizes the meaning of each card in the Lenormand deck that you came up with, your word. And then you're going to put that on the printout next to it, and then we're going to go down the list of the other 35 cards in column 2. This will give you 2 word combinations for each of the card combinations. All right, here's the list. So the one that you're printing out looks prettier than this. This is my very basic Excel spreadsheet. So my meaning for the word writer is message. So I mentioned yesterday, it's like, I think back to the Revolutionary War and the British are coming, the British are coming. And gosh, now we have ambulances going by. So my word for horses is message. So a message is coming. So if I take message and put it next to the clover, and for me, the clover means lucky. So a message and then the adjective lucky, the blended story would be a lucky message, or message about something lucky, a good message. Doesn't have to be the same verbiage. So what does you take your spirit vocabulary for the word writer, what that means to you, and then you're going to put in your message, your word for the clover. So then we go on to ship. So again, I have messenger, and ship for me is travel, journey. So I would say, if I was going to read the two cards together, that a message about a journey, maybe it's someone telling me about their vacation, hearing about a trip someone's going to take. So writer and ship for me would be a message about a journey. Now we have writer and house. So what does house mean for you? Does it mean family? Does it mean a structure? Does it mean, sometimes you can use that card for small business or because you work out of your home. For me, it's foundation, family, and home. So this would be a message about my family, a message about my home. And it, when it's a message too, it doesn't have to be like someone calling me about my home, but it could be my home giving me a message. So my basement's leaking. There's a message from your house. So it doesn't have to be super literal. All right, so now we have writer and tree. Again, for me, writer is message, and tree, I chose health, but I also use it in my mediumship as spiritual communication. And so this could be a message from spirit, or this could be a message about my health, or whatever tree means for you. Now we have writer and clouds. Clouds for me is confusion. I can't quite see, it's very cloudy. So it could be the message is confusing, message is hard to understand, unable to see the message. So at any time, I talk fast, I apologize. At any time, you can pause this and sit down and do some pondering on how your spirit vocabulary works here. Alrighty, so now moving on to snake. So snake, again, for me, can be shedding your skin, but generally, if I see a snake, I'm like shrieking and jumping backwards. So it's something that's up, or snake in the grass. It could just be somebody who's not great. So a message about something, a message, difficult news, that could be what it is, bad news, plain old-fashioned bad news. All right, so the next one is coffin. Coffin, of course, can mean death. It also can mean painful endings. So it could mean that whatever the message was, it was about something painful, something coming to an end. It could also be difficult news. Doesn't necessarily have to be news about something ending. So let's see. The next one is the scythe. This is always hard for me. The negative cards, so to speak, like clouds and snake and coffin and the scythe and the whip and the fox and some of the others are hard to read because I like to read in the positive presence. But scythe is cutting, sharp, clearing away. So this would be a message about any one of those things. But the scythe is also one of those cards that speaks to like timing. So it's fast. So this could be sudden news. And then we have whip. So the whip is anything that's repetitive, arguments. And again, I think I mentioned on the other video that if it's in relation to a relationship, it could even be something kinky, like think a dominatrix with her whips and her boots. So news about something kinky or news about an argument. So it's news that causes an argument. Then we have birds. Birds for me is always life coaching. It's about communication, two people communicating. One of the main messages you'll see in the book, though, is that they say it's gossip. So this could simply be news, gossipy news, or it could be someone bringing you a message about wanting to communicate. And then we have child. Child is also one of those cards that could mean a literal child, or it could be something small or something new because it's little. So this would be new news or news about the child. Now we come to Fox. So again, Fox is one of those cards that can be kind of negative. So I have this down for me as mischievous news. This is also maybe news about a job. Fox is also the work card. So this could be information about a job opportunity that's coming up. Then we have the bear. So the bear is, for me, I think of the mama bear, very protective, courageous, fierce. But some of the traditional meanings in the book have to do with finances, and it also has to do with nutrition and business. So this could be news about any one of those things. So I have it down in my book as, news from the boss or financial news. Then we have stars. So stars is hopes, wishes, and dreams. Also a navigational thing. So news about where to go. If I think about wishes and dreams, that makes me feel hopeful. So I could say this would be hopeful news coming my way. Then we have stork. For me, stork is all about transition, but it could also be about the birth of something new. So this would be news about something coming up, about change, news about change, news about, if I was reading for a woman and they wanted to know if their daughter was pregnant, I would say, absolutely, you're going to hear about it very shortly. The next card's the dog, which is for me, the loyal friend. So it's definitely would be good news. I have it down in my book as news from a friend. So what does dog mean for you? All right, so here's the last 18. So the tower for me is multi-level businesses, work, isolation, could be government. So this to me would be important news from somebody in the know, maybe an IRS thing, or maybe you get pulled over and get a speeding ticket. So news from the authorities, somebody with power. And then we have garden. So garden is your tribe, your people that you want to hang out with. So think garden party. And it can be online. It's definitely a networking card. So this could be news about your networking group, or this could be news, social media news, something that you saw online, Instagram. Then we have the mountain. So the mountain for me is obstacles and delays. It's hard going, but it's not insurmountable. So I would say this is so information about something that's going to be difficult or delayed. So crossroads is that path that splits off and you have choices. Which way do you want to go? So this is news about options, or news about decisions. Then we have mice. So mice is stress, things that are diminishing. So, and loss. So this could be news about a loss. This could be news that stresses you out, or small news. So it's not always bad. And I would look, if you got this card, I would look at the cards that's around the mice to see what that news could be about. So now we have the heart. So a message coming about the heart. So this could be a medical diagnosis, but it feels more like a message of love. But again, it depends on what's, like if the tree was right next to it, if I got the rider, the heart, and the tree, I would say you're going to get some health news and it's related to your heart. Or another thing with tree, it could be you're going to get some news about a loved one who is very close to your heart. So again, it's what your symbols mean for you. Rider is about, for me, commitment. Also, it's circular, so what goes around comes around. So it could be news that, you know, I've heard this before, or this is a repeat, or it could be news about a commitment. So that could be a job offer. It could be, you know, any kind of commitment that you would have in your life, new contract of some sort. So writer and the book is usually closed. So it's knowledge we don't know. So this would be hearing about that news that you don't know. Book can also be school, so news about school. It can also be about a project. The book is about projects. So also it could be just secret news. It could go back to gossip. So then we have the letter. The letter is written communication. So this would be documents that you could receive in the mail or an email or a text message. Any kind of written documentation. After that, we have the man and the woman. So this would be just news about a significant male or a significant female in your life. The lily is, for me, about peace and tranquility. It also represents a time, long time. And so this can be, think long as old. So this could be old news, or this could be something peaceful coming your way. The sun, one of my favorite cards, success, opportunity, growth. So I would say that this is news of success or happy news about something really great that's going on. The moon is emotion. So this could be an emotional message that you hear. The writer for some people means a person coming into their life. So it could be someone who's emotional, who's coming into your life. Think drama. Moon is also, for me, a psychic card. So this could be a psychic message coming your way, or maybe spirit coming in as the messenger. All right, next card is key, which is, for me, solutions, unlocking the door, opening it, and letting someone in, or getting out. So this is important news or news of a solution or an answer. Fish, for me, is resources, plenty of fish in the sea. When I think of resources, I always think of money. However, this could also be resources. Let's say you're looking for a job and someone turns you in onto a headhunter who can help you, or someone who is able to help you with your finances. So this is news or a message coming in about finances or resources. All right, so anchor is about security. Dropping your anchor in that harbor and feeling safe and secure. So this is reassuring news, news that makes you feel safe. And then cross is about a burden. I also use it for mediumship with spirituality and connecting to spirit across the veil. So this could be a spirit message. It can be fateful news, or it can be news that is a burden, something you didn't want to hear. So again, you would want to look at the other cards that are around it. And we'll get into that when we have a video about reading 3 cards at a time and more. So that's the basics. You need to sit down and make sure you fill this out yourself, because it doesn't matter if you use the one that I can send you, unless you have the very exact same spirit vocabulary. And as you read through this book, you're going to see that, you know, each card has umpteen different meanings that you might not have thought of, and now that you've heard it, it speaks to you. For example, we're going to talk about the cross. It could be grief, suffering, pain, troubles, emotional loss, hardship, disappointment, going through a tough ordeal, sorrow, despair, fears that you carry, a challenge. If it's a person, it could be someone who's religious or needy. If it's a man, or a woman, it could be someone who's totally worn out. If it's related to your work, it can be a miserable working environment. If it's love, it can be unhappy relationship. Could be a stalker. That's a new one. With spirituality, it's a balance between physical and spiritual worlds. That's why it speaks to me for mediumship. Money, it could be money troubles. So there's a ton. And before you overwhelm yourself with everything that's in this book, you need to make sure you have your word selected. All right. So I'm not going to walk you through each of the combinations today because I think that would be really overwhelming. But you can go on and start doing the rest yourself because the PDF that you've downloaded has all 36 cards on it. But I will do a little video like this for each one of the cards, and I would love to have you along. So you've got your handout, and I will post my combination list. So next steps, I'm going to be organizing other classes to help you learn how to read 3-card spreads, 5-card spreads. The portrait spread is a 9-card block, 333, and eventually the grand tableau. And I hope that you will join me for these. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please drop me an email at sue@piedpiperofpurpose.com. I won't analyze your readings, but I can help you if you're stuck or have a question about how all of this works. In the meantime, I'm so proud of you that you're actually working to strengthen your intuition. I'm telling you, the answers are in here, but this will lead you to unlocking the door to see them. So I hope you check out my website at Pied Piper of Purpose. There's all kinds of things on there. I do readings. I also do mediumship. I do life coaching. I just love helping people who are dreaming of a life with more meaning but don't know where to look. Through coaching, I can help them find clarity and create an action plan for them to move toward pursuing their soul's calling. That's what this is all about. So I loved spending the time with you today. And I hope to have you on the next video. Take care.